History presents us with a frustrating paradox. Belief systems originally designed to cultivate peace frequently end up generating rigid judgment, exclusion, and ultimately violence. Often, we treat faith like an exclusive perk. We treat texts like Romans 8 as a personal spa day for the soul, a private sanctuary meant to provide peace and grace specifically for our own group of believers. Operating under the assumption of Christ in us but not in them triggers a predictable psychological response. The human ego seizes that belief to manufacture superiority, building defensive walls against anyone classified as an outsider. This system, the tree of knowledge, uses inputs of moral calculation and comparison to produce a continuous output, fear of the other. Measuring who is good or bad accelerates the loop. You identify an enemy just to anchor your own moral security. Operating under this exclusionary framework strips faith of its power to heal. It becomes a sociological weapon used to divide. The Apostle Paul offers a massive shift away from this need for personal comfort. His vision is entirely expansive. The ultimate goal of the Spirit is the complete cosmic restoration of the world. As he writes in 1 Corinthians, "As in Adam all die, so in Christ all will be made alive." This network map shows how that works mechanically. We start with an us cluster and a them cluster. When we apply the theology found in Colossians chapter 3, Christ is all and in all, the boundary between the two dissolves. Every single node across both clusters illuminates with the exact same central core indicator. If we examine a single node within what used to be the them cluster, we see its internal structure matches the us group perfectly. The other is no longer godless, and the perceived enemy is no longer empty. The logical conclusion of this structural shift leaves no room for exceptions. Every human being is a habitation of the divine. Recognizing this universal indwelling directly short-circuits the psychological machinery required to dehumanize an opponent. When everyone shares that core, creating an other is impossible. Moving from a mindset of in me to in all has a very practical, functional consequence. It dismantles the entire logic of human violence. Historically, this reframes the event of the cross. It was never intended to serve as a justification for future religious crusades. It was designed to be the funeral for hostility itself. This logic flowchart maps the relationship. When an action is labeled harm to the marginalized, it follows a direct path to strike a terminal node, violence against the divine. The reality is stark. To harm, judge, or exclude another person is to commit literal violence against the indwelling Christ himself. When you operate under a fully grown gospel, violence, judgment, and hostility become logically and theologically impossible. Leaving behind a system built on constant judgment allows us to enter an operating system defined by communion, a framework Paul calls Romans 8, or the tree of life. And this produces an internal physiological result. This diagram visualizes that internal shift. These high-frequency, chaotic waveforms represent anxiety and hypervigilance. As the measurement loop stops, those spikes smooth into stable, harmonic sine waves. Your human nervous system finally relaxes. This physical relaxation happens because you are completely secure in that communion. The primal, ego-driven need to dominate or exclude other people vanishes entirely. It is common to fear this level of change, to worry that letting go of strict boundaries means letting go of faith. However, this expansive view does not abandon the gospel. It is the gospel finally reaching its full maturity. The two operating systems end in completely different places. A faith based on exclusion will always terminate in fear. A faith that sees Christ in all gives birth to a new humanity, defined by radical courage, by deep healing, and active peacemaking. Spiritual peace reaches beyond a personal sanctuary for me. It functions as the active, universal restoration of the world.